Have you ever felt drained by certain people but struggled with the decision to walk away? The Stoics teach us that true wisdom lies in knowing when to step back in silence rather than engaging in endless conflict. A wise person quietly removes those who bring constant negativity, manipulation, or deceit into their lives. They distance themselves from those who gossip, knowing that if someone speaks ill of others, they will eventually do the same to them. They walk away from envy and those who subtly undermine their achievements, recognizing that true support comes from those who celebrate success, not resent it. They also avoid those who refuse to take responsibility for their actions, always playing the victim and shifting blame. Surrounding oneself with such people stunts personal growth and creates unnecessary emotional turmoil. But why cut them off silently? Because arguing, explaining, or seeking validation only wastes energy. The wise understand that peace is more valuable than proving a point. Walking away without confrontation isn't weakness. It's a deliberate choice to protect mental clarity and emotional well-being. By stepping away, they create space for meaningful connections that inspire growth, positivity, and trust. So take a moment to reflect. Are there people in your life who are holding you back? If so, it may be time to let go, quietly without drama and with wisdom. Cut off wisely, grow freely. Drop a comment below. Which type of person do you need to walk away from today? Let's talk about it. And if this message resonates with you, hit like and subscribe for more insights on living a life of wisdom and strength. Let's get into it. Number 1, the overpromiser, under-deliverer. You ever meet that one person who's always got something big in the works? They promise you the world, game-changing collabs, mind-blowing plans, once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. But when it's time to actually show up, radio silence. Look, I get it. Life happens. But these people, they don't just drop the ball once in a while. They are the ball, and they stay dropped. And a wise person, they don't waste time waiting for someone to magically become reliable. They silently cut them off and move toward the real players. You want to know why these people do this? It's actually kind of deep. Most overpromisers aren't lying to you on purpose. They're lying to themselves. They love the feeling of making big promises. It makes them feel important. They believe their own hype, even though history proves they never follow through. They'd rather enjoy the temporary high of a promise than face the uncomfortable truth. They lack discipline, follow-through, or the work ethic to actually make it happen. And here's the dangerous part. If you're not careful, they will infect you with their delusions. You'll waste time, energy, and even money believing in a vision that only exists in their imagination. I gotta be real with you. I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I met this guy. Let's call him Mike. Mike was the king of grand ideas. Every time we talked, he had some huge opportunity lined up. Bro, I got this investor, this connection, this crazy new startup idea. We're gonna kill it. I bought into it. We'd spend hours brainstorming, planning, hyping each other up. But every time it came down to actually executing, nothing. He'd forget to send the email he promised. He'd flake on meetings. He always had an excuse. Oh, bro, crazy week, but next week for sure. And like an idiot, I kept believing him, kept giving him chances. Until one day I looked back and realized I had wasted months on nothing. The investor never existed. The startup never started. The only thing that actually happened? I lost precious time and momentum chasing a mirage. A wise person doesn't call them out, doesn't argue, doesn't even warn them. They just stop engaging. No more rearranging their schedule for them. No more one last chance. No more just checking in messages. They recognize that patterns are greater than promises. If someone consistently overpromises and underdelivers, that's not an accident. That's a personality trait. I know what you're thinking. Come on, these people aren't that bad. At least they mean well, right? Wrong. I'd rather deal with a hater than an overpromiser. At least a hater is honest about their negativity. At least with them, you know where you stand. Overpromisers, though? They waste your time while pretending to be on your side. They trick you into believing they're going to be part of your success story, when really they're just dead weight slowing you down. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Stop listening to what people say. Watch what they actually do. If they're always working on something big but never actually produce results, they're playing pretend. If they promise you the world but can't even show up on time, they're not serious. If someone consistently lets you down, don't make excuses for them. Don't wait for them to change. Just walk away. Because here's the thing, real ones don't need to overpromise. They just deliver. Now let's be honest. Have you ever fallen for an overpromiser? Or be real, have you ever been one? No shame, just a reality check. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 2, the one-up machine. Have you ever told someone a cool story and instead of being happy for you, they hit you with, "Oh, that's nothing. I did it bigger, better, and first?" Yeah, meet the one-up machine. The one-up machine is that person who turns everything into a competition they have to win. You climbed a tough hiking trail? Well, they did it blindfolded. You got a promotion? Oh, they got one twice as good last year. You met a celebrity. Oh, they had dinner with them. These people don't celebrate your wins. They hijack them to make themselves look better. And a wise person? They cut these clowns off fast. Why? They're more annoying and dangerous than you think. At first you might think, hey, that's just their personality. They're competitive. No big deal. But let me break it to you. This is deeper than just being competitive. This is insecurity in disguise. See, the one-up machine can't handle someone else having a moment. It threatens their fragile ego. So instead of letting you shine, they find a way to steal the spotlight. And if you keep them around, it does something dangerous to you. It teaches you to shrink your wins. You'll start second-guessing sharing your achievements because you know they'll get trampled. You'll stop being excited about your success because you know it'll turn into a who did it better contest. And suddenly, without even realizing it, you're playing small just to avoid their nonsense. Let me tell you about a dude I used to know. We'll call him Brad. Brad was that guy. No matter what you said, he had to top it. I told him I was learning a new language. He claimed he was fluent in 5, but somehow never spoke them. I got into fitness. He told me he used to bench 300 pounds in high school. Zero evidence. I traveled to a cool country. He had been there 3 times, but couldn't name a single landmark. At first, I just laughed it off. But after a while, it got exhausting. I realized this dude wasn't a friend. He was an ego-driven energy vampire. It was never about mutual support or good conversation. It was about him always feeling superior. A wise person doesn't waste their breath arguing with these people. They don't say, dude, why do you always do this? Because the one-up machine will never admit they're insecure. Instead, they handle it with one of these moves. 1. The silent cutoff. Just stop engaging. Wise people don't entertain nonsense. They let the one-upper keep talking to themselves. 2. The play dumb strategy. Next time they one-up you, hit them with, wow, that's amazing. You should totally show me proof. Watch them panic. 3. The sarcastic reverse Uno. Hit them with something so ridiculous, they have no choice but to stop. Oh, you ran a marathon? Cool. I ran to the moon last year. But honestly, option 1 is the best. Just remove them from your life. A wise person doesn't waste time battling insecure people who can't handle seeing others win. Some people might say, but they're not hurting anyone. Maybe they just want to impress people. Nah, let's call it what it is. They are stealing your joy and you're letting them. It's subtle, but it's real. Their constant one-upping turns conversations into competitions. And over time, that energy kills relationships. Because deep down, we all want friends who celebrate with us, not compete against us. Friends who uplift, not undermine. Friends who let us have our moment without trying to steal it. And here's the brutal truth. If someone can't handle your success, they don't deserve a front row seat to it. If you take one lesson from this, let it be this. Protect your joy. Protect your wins. Surround yourself with people who celebrate, not compete. Because at the end of the day, a truly confident person doesn't need to prove they're better. They already know their worth. And a wise person? They don't waste time convincing a one-up machine to be happy for them. They simply move on to people who genuinely are. So tell me, have you ever dealt with a one-up machine? Or be real, have you ever been one? No judgment, just some self-awareness. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 3, the gossip addict. You ever meet someone who treats gossip like it's their full-time job? They don't just talk about people, they analyze them, dissect their lives, and spread information like it's their personal mission. They know who cheated on who got fired, who was secretly broke, and who allegedly got plastic surgery. They have all the details except their own life because they are too busy studying everyone else's. And here's the truth. If someone gossips to you, you can be absolutely sure they gossip about you. That's why wise people cut these individuals off immediately. No explanations, no debates, just gone. I already know some people will say, "Oh, gossip isn't that bad. Everyone does it." That is the kind of thinking that keeps people stuck in small, toxic environments. Gossip isn't just talking about people. It is a form of low-level manipulation that infects the way you see the world. And gossipers, they aren't just running their mouths, they are exposing their own character. They expose their jealousy by tearing down others' success. They expose their bitterness by celebrating people's failures. They expose their insecurity by obsessing over people who aren't even in the room. And here's what most people don't realize. If someone is always gossiping, it means they are not focused on their own life. It means they are stagnant, caught in a cycle of distraction, avoiding their own problems by fixating on others. I once had a friend who was a professional gossip. She always knew things before anyone else. If someone had drama, she was the first to spread it. If someone was struggling, she was the first to turn it into a spectacle. At first, I thought it was just entertaining. But then I noticed something. If I shared something personal with her, somehow it got back to other people. She would accidentally slip information she definitely was not supposed to know. And the worst part? She never had anything positive to say about anyone. I decided to test her. I told her a completely fake personal story, something small but interesting enough that a gossip addict could not resist repeating. 3 days later, someone I never told brought it up in conversation. That was all I needed to know. She was not a friend. She was an informant. So I cut her off. No dramatic fight, no confrontation, just distance. And the moment I did, my life got quieter, my mind got clearer, and I realized just how much mental space gossip had been taking up. It was like detoxing from a bad habit I didn't even realize I had. A wise person doesn't argue with gossipers. They don't try to change them. They don't even warn them. They simply remove themselves from the nonsense. Here's how they do it. They stop feeding the conversation. When gossip starts, they don't add fuel. They change the subject or just get quiet. Nothing kills gossip faster than a lack of engagement. They test loyalty. If they suspect someone is a gossip, they drop a little false information and see if it spreads. If it does, that relationship is done. They set a boundary. Some gossipers will directly ask for information, digging for details. A wise person just says, "I don't talk about people who aren't here." That instantly makes the conversation awkward, forcing the gossiper to rethink their approach. But honestly, the best strategy is distance. Gossipers thrive on attention. The moment you stop giving them an audience, they move on to someone else. People who gossip constantly are weak. Strong people don't need to tear others down to feel powerful. Confident people don't waste time picking apart other people's lives. Successful people are too busy focusing on their own goals. And let's be clear, I'm not talking about the occasional, "Did you hear what happened?" moment. I'm talking about chronic gossipers, the ones who cannot go a single conversation without throwing someone under the bus. And the hard truth is that people like this never win in the long run. They burn bridges, they lose trust, they stay stuck in the same cycles, while the people they gossip about move on and succeed. So ask yourself, do you want to be part of that energy? Or do you want to be around people who uplift and inspire? If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Be careful who you let speak into your life. Because conversations are not just words, they are energy. And if all you hear is gossip, negativity, and judgment, that becomes your reality over time. A wise person doesn't waste their breath tearing people down. They focus on growth, self-improvement, and building something meaningful. And that is why they don't just ignore gossipers, they remove them completely. So tell me, have you ever had to cut off a gossip addict? Or be honest, have you ever been one? No judgment, just time for some self-awareness. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 4, the social climber. You ever meet someone who treats relationships like a networking event instead of a genuine connection? Someone who only values people based on what they can gain from them? These are the social climbers, the ones who start conversations with "what do you do?" instead of "how are you?" The ones who pretend to be your best friend until someone with more influence walks into the room. Suddenly, you're invisible. And let's be honest, we've all seen this type of person. Some of us have even been this person. But here's the truth. Real wise people don't play this game. They see right through it, and when they do, they walk away. Some people think social climbing is just being ambitious or strategic, but it's not. It's transactional, it's fake, and the worst part, it never truly works in the long run because people aren't stupid. Eventually, everyone figures out who is genuine and who is just playing the game. Social climbers have a pattern. They love bomb new connections, hyping them up, being overly nice until they get what they want. They suddenly disappear once they find someone more valuable. They only show up when they need something, never when it's time to actually support or be present. And here's the real problem. When you treat people like stepping stones, eventually you run out of places to step. I once had a friend, let's call him Jake. Jake was the type of guy who seemed to know everyone. Always at the right events, always in the right conversations, always making sure to be seen with the right people. At first I admired it. I thought, man, this guy's well connected. But then I noticed something. He only reached out when he needed something. When I introduced him to someone influential, he suddenly stopped talking to me. And when I wasn't useful anymore, he acted like we never met. One day I decided to test it. I intentionally stopped providing value. No introductions, no favors, just normal friendship. Within weeks, he was gone. No check-ins, no conversations, nothing. That's when I realized some people don't want friends. They want contacts. And as soon as you stop being useful, you become irrelevant to them. A wise person never chases social climbers. They don't get mad. They don't beg for loyalty, and they definitely don't try to win their attention back. They just do three things. 1, they watch patterns, not words. A social climber will tell you how much they love your friendship, but their actions always reveal the truth. 2, they stop feeding the illusion. If someone only values them for connections, they stop offering them. No handouts, no introductions, just silence. 3, they build real relationships. Instead of chasing validation from fake people, they invest in friendships built on trust, loyalty, and real connection. Because here's the truth. The higher you climb in life, the more you realize it's lonely at the top if you only brought fake people with you. This is the part that makes people uncomfortable. Social climbers think they are being smart. They think they are networking their way to success. But here's the brutal reality. Genuine success is built on relationships, not transactions. People notice who is fake. People stop trusting those who only show up when it benefits them. And when a social climber finally needs something, real advice, support, a second chance, no one is there. Because here's the biggest lesson. People don't forget how you treated them when you didn't need them. And the same people you ignored on the way up, they'll be watching when you fall. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Stop trying to impress people. Start trying to connect with them. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be around someone who is only there for personal gain. The people who build real success, real fulfillment, are the ones who build real relationships. So the next time you meet someone, don't ask yourself, what can they do for me? Ask yourself, do I actually like this person? Because if your friendships are built on strategy instead of authenticity, you'll eventually wake up one day surrounded by people who don't really care about you. And what's the point of success if you have no real relationships left? So tell me, have you ever had to deal with a social climber? Or be real, have you ever been one? No judgment, just time for some self-awareness. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 5, the free advice, free work leech. Have you ever had that one friend who only calls when they need something? They don't check in, they don't ask how you're doing, and they don't add value. They just pop up out of nowhere like, hey, quick question. And you already know it's never quick. This is the free advice, free work leech. The person who thinks your time, energy, and expertise are a free buffet. They want your knowledge, your skills, and your resources, but they never want to pay, support, or give anything in return. And here's the truth. Wise people don't entertain these types. They spot the pattern and cut the supply off. Because if you let these people keep taking, they will, and they won't stop until you're drained, frustrated, and questioning why you ever helped in the first place. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, they just need a little help. What's the harm? Here's the harm. People who constantly take without giving are not just asking for a favor. They are building a pattern, a habit. And before you know it, you're no longer a friend or a respected professional. You're their personal consultant, their free labor, their problem solver on demand. The worst part, these people never actually value your expertise. They just want access to it for free. If they truly respected it, they would. Offer to pay for your time. Reciprocate the effort. Respect your boundaries instead of feeling entitled to your help. Actually apply the advice they begged you for instead of treating you like an idea dispenser. And the moment you set a boundary, they suddenly vanish or act offended because they were never really there for you. They were there for what they could extract from you. I once had a guy in my circle. Let's call him Mark. Mark was a classic freebie leech. Every few months, he would randomly hit me up, acting like he wanted to catch up. But within 10 minutes, the conversation would always shift to, hey man, I just need some quick advice on this business idea. You mind reviewing this thing for me real fast? I just need a small favor. It'll only take a second. And like an idiot, I kept helping. I gave him detailed advice. I took time out of my day to review things. And what did I get in return? No follow-up, no thank you, no implementation, just another ask a few months later. One day I decided to test him. I flipped the script and asked him for help with something simple. And guess what? When he finally responded, he gave me the most bare minimum answer possible. Then a week later, he hit me up for another favor. That's when it clicked. This guy wasn't my friend. He was just using me. So I stopped responding. And guess what? He disappeared. No check-ins. No how have you been? Just gone. Because the moment I stopped being useful, I was no longer part of his equation. And I realized something important. People who only value you for what they can get will never truly respect you. A wise person doesn't let themselves become an on-call problem solver for people who don't value their time. They do three things. One, they charge for their expertise. If someone keeps asking for professional advice, they send an invoice. It's amazing how quickly people stop needing help when they have to pay for it. Two, they set clear boundaries. Instead of always saying yes, they say, I'd love to help, but I don't have the time right now. If someone gets mad at that, that's a red flag. Three, they test the relationship. They ask for something back, even something small. If the person suddenly doesn't have time to return the favor, that's all the proof they need. And here's the real secret. Genuine people will respect your boundaries. Users will get mad and disappear. Either way, you win. This is going to make some people uncomfortable. But here's the reality. People only take advantage of you if you let them. And the more you keep giving without expecting anything back, the more they will see you as someone to be used, not valued. Because let's be real, successful people respect other people's time and skills. Broke, stagnant people expect everything for free. If someone actually values you, they will never feel entitled to unlimited access to you. So if you're constantly feeling drained by people who only come to you when they need something, it's time to ask yourself, am I letting them? Or am I setting boundaries that force them to respect me? If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Stop giving away your time, energy, and knowledge for free to people who don't appreciate it. Your skills took years to build. Your time is irreplaceable. And the people who actually value you, they won't mind paying, reciprocating, or respecting your boundaries. So the next time someone asks for a quick favor that actually costs you time, energy, or effort, ask yourself, would they do the same for me? Do they ever check in when they don't need something? Am I being valued or just used? Because real relationships are built on mutual respect, not one-sided transactions. So tell me, have you ever had to cut off someone who only hit you up when they needed something? Or be honest? Have you ever been that person? No judgment, just time for some self-awareness. Drop your thoughts in the comments. A final challenge. Look, I know this wasn't the easiest list to hear. Cutting people off, especially people you once cared about, is hard. But here's the truth. The people you allow in your life will shape your mindset, your energy, and ultimately your future. And if you surround yourself with takers, manipulators, and people who don't genuinely respect you, it's only a matter of time before you start feeling drained, resentful, and stuck. But the flip side, when you start protecting your peace, when you cut off the people who hold you back, when you make room for those who truly value and uplift you, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your energy improves, your life levels up, because your environment dictates your growth. And wise people don't waste their time trying to fix one-sided relationships. They simply walk away. If this resonated with you, here's a challenge. Take a look at your circle. Ask yourself, who actually supports me? Who just uses me? Who respects my time? Who expects me to always be available? Who genuinely cares? Who only shows up when they need something? And if someone's name popped into your head while reading this, you already know what you need to do. Now you just have to decide if you're brave enough to do it. Until next time, protect your peace, choose your circle wisely, and keep growing.